Hello, friends. This is Grunhaar, and welcome to episode 13 of minicast. I've been pretty busy for the last 2 months. So many things going on at the same time, so I was pretty okay with postponing the release of the new episode, but luckily, thankfully, I am getting more listeners worldwide, and I didn't want to disappoint them, so here I am. I wanted to talk something about music today. I've already been to several shows this year. I've been to a future funk music event back in February featuring Macross 8299, Vantage, and Neon Vectors. And for others, I have seen 103 Point Never, G. Jones in March, Subtronics, and Level Up in April so far. And one of these shows reminded me of the time when I listened to their music. It was like a time machine. I just remembered myself and my surroundings in pre-COVID era and around the year 2020, I guess. Have you ever had this kind of moment? For example, if you listen to a particular piece of music that has so much meaning to you, you remember that time, how you lived in that period of time, how you felt, your memories, your emotions, happy ones, sad ones, and etc. And sometimes I remember the specific smell, the taste, the colors from the fragments of my memories as well. So this occasionally happens to me when I shuffle play songs in my playlist. This example may be a cliche, but if I hear Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites by Skrillex, I will directly think about the year 2011 in a reflexive manner. So here are more examples. In the same way, if I hear Deep Down Low by Valentino Khan, I think about the year 2015. And if I hear Slow Dancing in the Dark by Joji, I think about the year 2019. Some widely known popular songs represent certain time frame to many people, while other songs represent certain time frame to some people, regardless of the release date of that song. So if we were able to visualize this like a mind map or something, I think it will make an interesting set of statistics. I'm not a researcher, but I believe music and memory have strong connections. Okay, so here's my question to you for this episode. What songs have strong connections to you and why? Let me know in the comments. Okay, let me get back to the point where I was talking. So, a few weeks ago, I went to Subtronics show in Shibuya, and I was enjoying his performance, listening to his classics like Death Wish and String Theory, and then I was in a time machine in my mind. I remembered I used to listen to his mixes on YouTube. It is called Now That's What I Call Rhythm. It is distributed by the YouTube channel named The Dub Rebellion, and I think some of you may already know. So, it is basically a series of mix made by Subtronics, and I think it has 5 in total. My favorite was Volume 3, which was published in 2018. And just around the same time, I found several gems on YouTube. I found Excision's Lost Lands mix. I found Infect's live set. It was someone's recording from New Year's Eve countdown in 2017, and it is still my favorite thing to watch. I think it was that time when I was introduced to so-called rhythm genre. But for me, this was not the only one. I had also met a music genre called death step. Looking back, I think the first introduction to this kind of music, for me, it was a mix made by Code Pandorum. I usually dig music mostly through YouTube and Spotify, and yes, as you can imagine, the former YouTube recommended me this mix one day, and I gave it a try, and I loved it. The actual mix I listened to is Cold Pandorum Leviathan Mix, and it's also distributed by the Dub Rebellion. Give it a listen if you're interested. I think it's much easier to get a grasp of the music rather than reading text-based explanation. So, speaking of text-based explanation, according to the internet, death step is a subgenre of dubstep which is characterized by heavy distorted sounds. Usually that's what it says. From its word perspective, I think it has something to do with death metal or metal music. Some people refer to this kind of music as minitree, as a different name. Honestly, I don't really know if there is a clear difference between them. Some say minitree is more noise-based, but let's leave it there. So, since I used to listen to a lot of metal music before I got into electronic music, I think I already had a strong affinity for death step music. I didn't get startled by aggressive drums or synths. I just purely enjoyed them and listening to it since then. I didn't know this kind of genre existed, but I'm pretty glad that I found it. So, since it's a personal preference, it depends on one of you, but digging music on YouTube works pretty good. If you already have artists or producers you like, search them on YouTube, watch their videos, and YouTube will give you more suggestions. And if you don't have any, you can just watch music festival live DJ sets or archive videos, and you will find your favorites on the way. Just follow those similar videos and go dig deeper. It is like a mineral vein in the mountains. Once you find your favorite, just follow along one after another. And actually, finding new music on YouTube is a part of my everyday hobby now. So, just like that, after discovering Cold Pandorum's mix, I found this YouTube channel named Hydraulic Damnation, another mineral vein where you can find more death step music and other aggressive ones like Tear Out. Okay, so here comes another music genre. So both death step and Tear Out music have aggressive sounds. Both are under the same dubstep category. That's what they have in common for sure, but the differences I can personally think of so far are: number one, death step music has more metallic percussions, whereas in Tear Out music, they tend to have loud snares or claps. Well, sometimes they do have metallic snares too, but it's less likely to observe it in my opinion. Number two, death step music has more melodic and ambient elements to it. Some songs have churchy vibes by blending choir part to the song, and I think that's why we see more devils and angels and other medieval themed motifs in their artworks. Number three, if you look at the waveforms of the songs, Tear Out songs almost look like a single block, which means they are pretty loud throughout the whole song. Whereas in death step music, the intro part, the bridge part, and the outro part tend to be much more quieter, so in waveforms, it doesn't look like a single block, but a set of weird stairs with low platforms and high platforms combined together. Song structures can vary too. Some of them have longer intros or longer outros. So I was thinking about this the other day. Why tear out music is more popular than death step music? I don't know how it's like outside Japan, but there are very few DJs who play death step music in the scene. Maybe less than 5 or 10, including myself, while it's more common to observe DJs who play tear out music. It makes me a little sad sometimes, because death step is such a beautiful and artistic genre, yet it's very rare to hear them on DJ sets. I remember when random strangers commented on my Instagram story. As a context, I posted a video of myself DJing deathstep or military music, and they said, "Deathstep on DJ sets, impossible." And it was written in uppercase, by the way, or "Much love, thanks for playing military," and such. These people were not from Japan, so I guess it's a global thing. Now, why is that? So, here's my personal theory, my guess. Tear-out songs have song structures that is easier for the DJs to mix the songs. A lot of these songs fit in a common pattern. First 16-bar intro, 16 or 32-bar drop, then another 16 or 32-bar bridge, followed by the second drop, then the outro. And if you get used to it, it's pretty easy to transition to another song by remembering this structure. And also, in another DJ perspective, I think many dubstep DJs tend to fill the venue with louder sounds all the time, like shorter transitions, drop after another drop to keep the hype, so the audience can move their bodies to the rhythm. And I think they tend to avoid quieter sounds. On the other hand, in deathstep music, the gap between quiet moments and loud moments are bigger. So in DJ sets, the people's excitement level gets on and off. And maybe that's why a lot of DJs don't use this kind of music often. However, that does not stop me from playing deathstep music for DJing. For the last 12 months at least, I make it a rule to play at least 1 or 2 deathstep music in my DJ set. So whenever the event organizers tell me I can play whatever music I want, I do it every time. I think it adds more interesting groove to the DJ set. It enables me to express more, enhancing creativity, And I would like to further polish my DJ skills so I can mix these kinds of songs in a seamless and fascinating way. Anyways, so here's another thing I wanted to talk about in this episode, how one element in music genre affects others. So I've been talking about the dubstep music scene in general. If you know, you know, but most of these DJs or producers have one of those metal band logos, like the black metal bands such as Dark Throne and Emperor. And I personally call it scattered spaghetti logos because they look like them, or tree branches. Some say they look like spider webs too. So these kinds of logos were designed by Christoph Speidel. He designed over 7,000, literally thousands of logos for metal bands in his career, people calling him Lord of the Logos. And this style of designs is so good that it went out from the metal genre and spread to different genres like dubstep. So if you take a look at music festival lineups or SoundCloud accounts, it's everywhere. You can also spot them not only in music but also in fashion as well. Go to a shopping mall, go check places where they sell young people's clothes, and I think you will find at least one example. So I think it's pretty interesting phenomenon. I wonder what other elements in music genre influence other fields. So before we finish up, my message to you in this episode is that enjoy every kind of music with an open heart and mind, and discover something new and go appreciate its art and its culture. Okay, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening. Wherever you are, have a great day and see you next time.